Okay. Welcome to the Code with Jason meetup. Today we're going to be working again on SaturnCI. Ross, are you by chance familiar with this thing I've been working on, SaturnCI?
Yes, I have watched a few videos to
Okay.
kind of catch up before joining. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, dear viewer, if you're not familiar, it's a CI platform. If you're familiar with Circle CI or GitHub Actions, it's meant to be apples to apples to those, except hopefully better. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, got my map of Vermont up that I pulled up a minute ago. Um, okay. So I left myself a helpful comment when we left off last time to remind myself what to do next. So it says, if this succeeds, turn to the caching. If this fails, keep troubleshooting. So what is this? Let's pull up that. Whoops. Whoops again. There. Okay. So what I was trying to do was set the bundle path to vendor bundle. And the reason for that was because I wanted to put it somewhere specific so that I could create a zip file of the installed gems and tuck them away somewhere so it can be cached. And it says, if this succeeds, well, last time we left off by doing a test run, and we can see here that it did not succeed. I'm actually going to delete a few of these recent test runs because I got stuck in a running state. And I just don't want to be distracted by those. Okay, so the only one I'm going to pay attention to is this one. It says bundler command not found RSpec, which means that the bundle install failed. And I'm sure that that's the reason because we ascertained that last time in the last session. Okay, so something is wrong with this, and I know that because when I just do run bundle install, it works fine. So let's think of why this might not work. I'm going to do this. And I'm a bit concerned because I think maybe I left some jobs running for like 24 hours. Where, here we go. Okay, just one. My DigitalOcean bill is up to $41 roughly so far. I can live with that, I guess. The more builds I do, the more it costs, of course. All right, I'm trying to destroy this droplet, but the DigitalOcean site is being slow. While I'm waiting for that, oh, here it is. Okay, no droplets. Now I'm going to rerun this. It takes a minute to kick off. Okay. But now do SaturnCI jobs. I see the new one. Yeah, this is from 311. This is from 312. And I can SSH into this one. Unknown argument. Oh, not jobs, but job. Connection refused. This that's kind of annoying. I think I'm gonna want to fix that sooner than later. Anyway, tail dash F var log syslog. Now we can see what this machine is doing. I want to wait until it gets to the stage where it does the bundle install. And then after it performs the bundle install, I want to I want to do some investigation to try to see why the Docker file isn't behaving as one would expect. Just to fill the time. Nick, your hat, Merrill. Is that Merrill the boot company?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I think I might have a pair of those.
Yeah, I have a couple. There's a store not too far from here, and I end up picking up a lot of their like trail running shoes. I'm not much of a trail runner, but I try to get out and do quite a bit of hiking and
Hmm.
tend to like using their shoes for that.
Yeah, you probably have some really good hiking near you.
Yeah, if you can fight the crowds in the
Oh,
back.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the bundle is going now. Okay, so the bundle's finished. So I'm gonna stop tailing the log now. Let's see where I am. I'm gonna go to the project directory, which is here, and then I'll look in vendor bundle. And it doesn't even exist. That's interesting. So that's a clue, I suppose. Is right here, we're creating the vendor bundle directory, but it does not exist. That is interesting. Even though I'm creating vendor bundle, it does not exist. Any ideas? Hmm. Oh, that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me. Okay, it's kind of frozen. Okay, so let's think about this. At what point does the Docker file get used? I suppose when we do, or I'll go to my script. When we do the Docker compose build, I guess that's when it comes into the picture. Yeah, because in the Docker compose file, we have this Saturn test app, and it uses .saturnci/docker file, which is this. So when we do our Docker compose build, that's when the Docker file is used. Workdir/code. Maybe, maybe at the time we're creating this vendor bundle directory, maybe we're in the wrong location. But also, I don't remember what the deal is with /code. Let's see. Slash code must be on the Docker volume or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's just creating a working directory on the Docker. And then you copy the dot, which is your volume, to code. And so it should, everything looks right to my eyes. I would have suggested, I don't know if the bundle install at the very beginning tells in the logs where it's going. And I wonder if at the very top of that bundle install, it mentions, or if the Docker file outputs something for that run make directory.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a good question. Let's see. Is this, yeah, okay. So bundle, this might be too small for you guys to really see. Make it bigger. Bundle, okay. Let me see if I can scroll to the right here. There we go. Bundle config set path. Okay, but there doesn't seem to be, if there's any output related to creating that directory, I don't see it. I'm guessing there just isn't any. And then when bundler is run, I don't see any output related to the destination folder. But how about let's do this? Let's do like the fully qualified path. How about instead I use the fully qualified path? Okay, but I don't really want to hard code it like that. Is that what it is? Yeah, worked. Okay, I guess I'll do it like that. Whoops. Okay. Okay. Guess I can take out my comment. Okay. Use fully qualified path. Okay, so that's running now. Let's see, get jobs. Okay. I want to SSH into this one. Might get that same error again. It's waiting for the machine to be ready to connect. Yep, same error. For some reason, not all. It always takes 2 tries. So I'm going to go to the project directory. Oh, it doesn't exist yet. Okay, I'm going to tail the logs. Okay, so that'll take a bit, of course. While we're waiting, I'll bring you a message from our sponsor. Um, I always like to mention in these videos. Well, I try to mention in these videos. I don't do a very good job of it. Part of the reason I do these videos is for marketing for myself, for my consulting work. So I provide mainly advisory services to my clients, and it's quite widely varied, so it's a little bit hard to explain what I do. But the main thing that I tell people I do is TDD coaching. The truth is actually more nuanced, but that's the thing that people understand. So that's what I do. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm available for hire. I can be reached at jason@codewithjason.com. Ross, what kind of consulting have you been doing?
Recently, it's been a lot of early stage startup consulting.
Hmm.
I don't know how my network has kind of funneled that stuff to me.
Okay.
But it has, and tends to be surrounding marketplaces because of my experience both at StreetEasy, then Zillow, and then Impact. They all actually were marketplaces. So I have a lot of experience engineering there, but also on the product and growth side because of being at a startup, understanding what's needed for a marketplace early on in the
Got it.
SEO
Okay.
realm and things like that. So
Okay. Um, and do you work with one client at a time or multiple, or how do you manage that part of it?
multiple, I tend to only get into smaller, like actual programming engagements. And a lot of these engagements have been, for all intents and purposes, almost like a fractional CTO, where I'm
Okay.
helping them either identify somebody to work with. This has actually happened a couple of times where they're non-technical founders and they're looking for somebody to do the work,
Hmm.
uh, and helping them guide them along either making their first hire or working with a consultancy and understanding, reputable consultancies versus non, and understanding pricing a little bit and setting that
Yeah.
expectation.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. And is there some kind of I'm asking partly for my own, because I do similar kind of work. Is there any sort of like trigger that you've noticed that like prompts people to come talk to you?
It's all been my personal network. There, I tend to have a group of people that suggest me when they come across somebody,
Uh-huh.
and say, you'd be a really good person to talk to, uh, about working, it just has happened that these non-technical people come to me. I think they're kind of hoping that I'll want to jump on board as a CTO and do the
Okay.
coding work. But then I kind of help divert and say, I'm not actually what you want. I'm too expensive for what you want.
Got it.
And saying, but a really great, deal is me helping guide you to actually saving some money by what you need and what you don't need early on.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit similar to me. Like I charge sufficiently much that like a lot of places probably wouldn't, very few places would want to actually hire me for like full-time development at that rate. But I can be hired for very part-time, very affordably, but still make a large impact because you can make a really big impact with just a little bit of good advice.
Yeah, and that's really why I say very few programming engagements, because if it's very, very early on in a product, they tend to have just monumental amounts of work, and it's like that's time consuming, but
Hmm.
not high leverage. But once
Yeah.
they have kind of a product in place, there can be these smaller products or features that can be built in a day or two that can have really outsized returns. And those I also try and help identify and say, hey, look, you already do have a marketplace and like running. Here's some ideas that could help accelerate that stuff. And then offering, some small projects that I would be interested in working on to help them.
Yeah, okay. Well, our vendor bundle directory is still absent. So there must be something that I don't understand. So
So
let's identify that thing.
I will make one suggestion too,
Yeah.
that I know I think we should go down this route and try and figure this out. But looking at this, there is one thing that strikes me. I think you are going to need a volume, which is, a separate directory that's kind of on the, I guess you call it the job machine, uh, where you'll want to store these. And the reason I bring that up,
Yeah.
the
Okay, yeah,
Docker
continue.
file, yeah, the Docker file is on the client. So if this was an app, the clients have control of the Docker file, and you don't want them to have to put anything special in there to really, do this.
Right.
So you really want the control on the job machine side of things.
I'm not sure I understood that last part, but maybe we can come back to that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The part that made the light bulb go on for me is what you said about the volume because oh no, my terminal is frozen up because I think the job terminated itself. Okay, sorry, let me deal with this. There. Um, okay. Yeah, so on my local environment, it gets a little bit hard to keep it all straight because there's multiple Dockerized environments in the picture. But there's a Dockerized environment for my local development environment, and then there's a Dockerized environment for like the general SaturnCI test environment that runs on the job machines. And on my local Dockerized environment, um, I have my volume synced with my host. And let me even look, Docker compose. So, oops, volume. Hmm. Somehow, oh, no, 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 sorry, that's not even the case at all. Um, I don't need to have a synced volume because the only thing I'm Dockerizing locally is Postgres and Redis. So my file system isn't even touched by Docker as far as like my application code goes. But then in the test environment, all the files are inside a Docker container, and the Docker container has no relationship with the host machine's file system. And I think that's what you're getting at. And so here, oh, I do have code as a volume. Okay, so it is synced, but maybe, okay, but my question is, in what manner is it synced? Because maybe a change on the host machine would be propagated to the container, but maybe not the other direction. And maybe I can do a test to see what the answer to that is, so I'm not just having to go completely by trial and error. So can I SSH into this job or is it terminated? Looks like it's terminated. Okay, so I'll get a new job going. Okay. And then I will SSH into that. kind of disappointing that after all this work I put into this SSH thing, it's still kind of half broken. But I don't expect that to be too terribly hard to fix. Why did I say that? I shouldn't say things like that. Uh, Here, let me take that statement back and say something different. I have no opinion about how hard that will be.
That's safe.
Okay. So now we're in tail dash f var log syslog. Okay. So I want to wait for the Docker build to start, or do I even care about that? Okay. So it clones the repo. Okay, I just need to wait for it to clone the repo, and then I can start doing stuff. Okay, it says running Docker compose build. Um, Now I think I'm free to mess around and do whatever I want. Okay, so I got to remember the prefix and all that. Okay. Okay, let's see. So, oh no, I didn't want to do that. I hate it when I copy paste something and it pastes the new line also, which makes the command execute. No, no, no. Okay. I'm just gonna run ls. Oh, okay, I did something wrong. Run Saturn test app ls. And then I think what I want to do is shell into this container, make some kind of modification on the file system, and then get back out of the container and see if that modification is reflected on the host machine. What even is it doing right now? Okay, Chromium. All right. Yeah, some of the stuff can definitely be cached, which will be great. Oh, okay. I maybe can't do that right now because I already have other processes doing things. All right. And now my terminal is frozen because the job executed itself or deleted itself. Okay, so I'm gonna have it exit here. I'm gonna say echo exiting. That'll help me notice it. Okay, so now I'm gonna restart that job yet again. By the way, one of the reasons that I'm prioritizing this caching for one of the earlier tasks that I complete is because it's really annoying to have to wait so long to try things and then see if they were successful. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Nope, that's not it. Okay. Connection refused again. Okay.
That connection refused. I
Uh-huh.
have a feeling it's a race condition with the droplet being created and the IP address existing, but
Hmm.
the RSA key file path hasn't been updated yet.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So if you, I peeked at the GitHub repo, and I think it's the
Yeah.
job machine request.rb,
Hmm.
and you can see between, at least in the version that's pushed up, line 38 and line 40. I think you're trying to connect right between those two lines, basically.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, thanks for that tip. That'll be useful when I come back to that, which I think I'll probably do soon. Okay. What's going on? I'm frozen again. Oh, maybe it was just a connection issue. Okay. So it looks like the machine has finished starting up. And now we're waiting for it to do its next thing. I don't know why it's just sitting here. Could it be that the script has completely executed? No, it only has done this tiny amount of stuff so far. But this is like weird. This doesn't seem normal. Okay, let's find where the script is on this machine. Maybe something is wrong with it. Find slash dot name. Um, job. I don't know if that's going to be what it's called. Oh, so we have home Ubuntu project, blah, blah, blah. That means that part has executed. Weird. Okay. Okay, so got as far as cloning the repo, but I didn't see any output related to that, which is weird. Wait, what if I do cat verilog syslog? Okay, so there's way more to it. It's just I wasn't expecting it to already be complete. I think that was it. I wasn't expecting it to already have completed. All right. Now I forgot what I was even gonna do. Oh yeah, I was gonna go into the container and make a modification to the file system, then come back out and see if that modification was reflected on the host machine. All right. So I'm gonna open up my shell script. Actually, let's do this. Okay, so it's gonna have to do the build and everything. Then I don't actually remember how to shell in, so I'll have ChatGPT remind me. Oh, I think I do just like run bin bash or something like that. Oh, Docker compose exec. Okay. Honestly, maybe before I even try to cache the gems and stuff, maybe I should cache some of these Docker images. Because it's obviously like there's no point in just downloading the for example, the Ruby 312 image over and over again. Hey, David, you made it just in time for like the last 13 minutes. And if you're talking, I can't hear you. Okay, so it looks like this is almost done.
Hi guys.
Hi, David.
Uh, Sorry, I just subscribed to the on your website.
Uh-huh.
So my name is David. I'm a new developer wanting to learn Ruby on Rails.
Well, you came to the right place.
Yeah, I was just going through YouTube and I found a YouTube that talked about you.
Oh, okay.
So I thought it would be a good idea to join. So
Well,
I
appreciate
think
you
I'll be
coming.
trying to, thank you so much. I'll make an effort to join every day that you have the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm quite keen to see how far I can get with Ruby on Rails.
Yeah, well, I will be it'll be good to have you here. Um, you said you found somebody else, like somebody else's YouTube mentioned me?
Yes, I think the channel is called Self-Taught Dev.
Sorry, what is it?
Okay, I think I can share the channel on. Okay, just a moment.
Hmm.
Okay, that's the name of the channel.
Self-taught dev. Interesting. I'll take a look at that
Yes.
later.
So this is actually the video where he talked about you.
Okay. Sorry, I'm distracted because I'm trying to do two things at once. Um,
But it's okay.
oh,
You can
thanks.
have a
I'll
look
I'll
at it
come back
later.
to this later too. Um, so I didn't realize that I was in the container. I'm in the container now. So if I do ls, oh, and I think my connection is, oh, maybe I just have a bad internet connection. Okay. Okay, so I did ls and there's some stuff there. So I'm curious if I actually do ls vendor, is there a bundle? No, there's not. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do touch new file. Then if I do ls, we should have new file in there. Yep, and we do. And if I go out of this and do ls, oh, new file is there. Okay, so the problem is not that the container file system is not getting synced with the host file system because they are getting synced. I'm actually kind of surprised they're getting synced. But that evidently is not the problem. Hmm.
On
Okay.
the Docker, can you run bundle config path, which should output the path? Because didn't at this point have you set the path or not?
Um, I don't actually know.
Oh wait, are you on the job machine or inside the Docker? Yeah, I think you
Just on
need
the
to.
job machine, I'll go inside. Oh yeah, I would have had to, yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, interesting. I do see Projector vendor bundle, but that's like no good, I think. Ha. Yeah. Um, it's like literally Projector, I think. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what
No,
that tells me anyway.
no, I think it's right.
Except for your local app. Huh. I would have expected Projector to have been interpolated.
Yeah, but
Wait, if I do Projector like that, okay. Wait, but if I do this, does it take it literally? Yeah, okay. Okay. Okay, so I suppose that does seem right. But then if I do ls vendor, there's no bundle. But then what if I do bundle install in here? Does it create the vendor bundle directory? By the way, David, where are you located?
Mm, I am from Nairobi, Kenya.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have a friend who lives in Nairobi.
Oh, awesome.
Um, if she has a very unique name, so if I tell you her name, you probably wouldn't mistake her for somebody else. Her name is Nigeria.
Oh, Nigeria.
Yeah, do you know anybody named Nigeria?
In Kenya, no.
Yeah, okay. Wait, do you know somebody out of Kenya named Nigeria?
I imagine in some other African countries, maybe that is a common name. In
Yeah, I get
Kenya,
the
it is
impression
not.
that it's not.
It is not at all.
all right.
Okay, interesting. So
Yeah.
running bundle does not result in the creation of vendor bundle. Sorry, vendor bundle.
Hmm.
So the
Okay, so
question
what if I do, sorry, what were you
is,
gonna say?
where are these gems then? Either it didn't install or these gems are somewhere else on the system.
Yeah, it's a great question. After I run bundle install, how can I see where the gems were installed? All right, so I guess I'll just pick an arbitrary gem and do bundle info for that gem. Um, okay. Yeah, this is weird. Code/projector. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So I was right. It's literally, oh, but now I'm not seeing it here. But when I do ls, I see the first item is a literal projector. So I think maybe ChatGPT steered me wrong. Okay, so you know what? Let's take that variable out of the equation. And even though I don't really ultimately want to hard code it, let's not hard code it. Okay. Yeah. unhard code project. Yeah, whatever. And David, are you currently working somewhere?
Mm, I am just about 6 months into my first developer job,
Well,
working as
congratulations. You're the only one of us here with a job.
uh, I can't see how that would be possible, but
Well, it is.
yeah,
I mean, I'm being a little bit tongue in cheek. I have paying clients. Um,
okay,
yeah, and so does Ross.
okay.
Yeah, but none of us besides you has a real job. And where's
So
the
do
company
you work?
located that you're working for? Is it a Kenyan company or are they located somewhere else?
Yeah, it's a Kenyan company.
Oh, okay.
Uh, it's a Kenyan company doing e-commerce websites.
Okay.
Yeah, but I work as a front-end dev.
Okay. Doing Rails stuff or a different technology?
They use Django, Python.
Django. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So there's no
Yeah.
literal projector now, but there's still no vendor bundle. Um, let's go into the container. Container is not running. Yes. Ross, are you going to any of these Ruby or Rails conferences that are coming up?
Not this year. I think I will start going. I just this year I didn't want to incur the expense.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, as you might be aware, I host my own conference that's taking place next week. So I'm obviously going to that. And then I found out recently that I got accepted to speak at RailsConf in Detroit. So definitely going to that.
Nice. What's the topic that you're gonna choose?
I think the title is TDD for Absolute Beginners.
Nice.
And it is not a talk, but a workshop.
Okay.
Interesting. What was the application process like? Was it difficult?
It seemed actually pretty pared down from years past.
Okay.
It wasn't very difficult. Yeah, and I've given a workshop before at at least one conference. I gave a Docker workshop at RubyConf. Um, even though I've been bumbling around Docker today. But it was a very intro level Docker workshop. And I really liked that format. I think it lends itself better to stuff like this than just a talk. For talks, I personally don't really like super technical talks all that much because I don't feel like it's the right format. I prefer talks that are like a story or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I've done Docker for years and years now, and I still fumble through it, I feel like, because it's also a skill that you tend to use intermittently. It's not
Yeah,
something that's exercised on a daily basis. So I feel like it
Yeah.
atrophies a little bit.
yeah, I appreciate you saying that because I recently picked up Docker. We didn't use it at the job I was at, and so I wanted to pick it up for my own knowledge. And I worked through the guides, which I think have improved recently. And then I just went ahead and started using it on a couple projects. But it is one of those things that once you kind of work through and get set up, you don't come back to maybe for a while.
hmm Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and the documentation, frankly, is quite poor, and so that doesn't help anything. Isn't this interesting? I did LS, and we have project dir here. How is that still happening? Let me
What
do
does
this.
project jar supposed to represent?
What's that?
The string virtual project jar, what is it supposed to represent?
Well, it's supposed to not even be there because I was using it as a placeholder for the value of slash code, but I took it
Okay.
out because it was getting interpreted as a literal, apparently, not getting interpolated. So I took it out, so it's very surprising to still see it. Okay, documents, code, Saturn. Okay, so it does get mentioned here. I feel like it must be coming from this script rather than from that other Docker file. Because if I go, oh, interesting. Oh, hmm. Yeah. So this code is coming from a git clone. This code is coming from a git clone. And so it cloned the older version, apparently. But I thought we pushed. Yeah, we definitely pushed. Does it not get taken up on the first time? And it gets taken up on the second time? I'm not sure what the explanation would be for that if that's the case. But it seems like a guess worth checking. Let's see, that Docker file, that's like things get confusing because I'm using SaturnCI on itself. And so it's easy to get mixed up regarding what's platform code versus what's user application code. Okay. So now let's go to home. Let's see. Okay, so the script is still running, and then after it does the git clone and finishes, I want to look at the Docker file to see if it's the right one or not. And it is 11:30 where I am, so it'll be time for us to wrap up shortly. Okay, I can see that it's done now. Okay, cat Docker, whoops, cat Saturn Docker file. Okay, this is the correct one. All right, so let's give it a couple more minutes. Let's keep going because I'm really curious to see. And if anybody has to drop off, that's totally fine. All right, so I'm going to shell back into here. Oh, and before I did that, I should have checked to see if that bundle folder was present. I'll do that right after this. So David, I'm curious, you have a Django job, but you're wanting to learn Rails. How come you're wanting to learn Rails?
Um, I think at the moment my focus will continue to be for front end, but for those times when you need to do something on the back end, I think Django is a bit too complicated because it has so many ways of doing the same thing, you know.
Oh yeah.
I think, yeah, so I think I prefer Ruby on Rails.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, from what I have seen so far, it seems to simplify a lot of work for you. So you can move way faster using it than how fast you can move when using something like Django.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. Well, you have impeccable taste.
Thank you. I think the only challenge so far is there's not a lot of good learning material for Ruby on Rails as
Hmm.
compared to the other frameworks.
Oh, you think so?
At least that is what I have experienced so far, because
Okay.
even when I was trying to create my first project, which was, I think, from Thursday last week, um, there's still there's a lot of things that get you stuck before you get started. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the first thing being the process of installing Ruby and then Ruby on Rails, and then when you begin a project, there's a lot of collision that I experienced between the version of Ruby that I got installed and
Oh yeah.
then James the package. You know, before you figure that out, you know.
Yeah, I have definitely experienced that pain.
Yeah, so
Um,
you can get stuck a bit.
yeah. And that's why I really like Docker. Um, and that way I can have a different pain instead. Okay. Bundle show R
I
spec
think
did
it
not
was
find.
it bundle info and not bundle show,
Oh,
but I still think it's going to do the same kind of output. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
yeah. So it's saying it couldn't find Rails. I don't know why it's looking for Rails when I do bundle info R spec, but I'm going to try to manually run bundle from here and see what happens.
It's almost like it's not catching that set config, even with the set path and,
Mhm.
the double ampersand bundle. Uh, so I wouldn't be surprised if these like it we watched it install and do a bundle install already, and I wouldn't be surprised if those were lingering somewhere else.
Mhm.
Yeah. And what's interesting to me is that these gems appear not to have been already installed, even though bundle install has run once. So that's a clue to me that they're being installed in a different location on the second time. Okay, vendor bundle, very interesting. Yeah. And I did not run that with the config. I just typed bundle and hit enter. That is fascinating. Hmm. So in the Docker file, we're doing this bundle config and then bundle install. Hmm. Yeah, it seems like it's not using the right directory.
I think there's a way to run the bundle install command with the path set in the command as, a command line argument instead of a separate command.
I believe you're right,
Yeah.
but I think even so, I want an explanation for why
Yeah.
this isn't working as expected. I'm curious as to whether, if I simply move this bundle install to a separate line, I wonder if that would make it behave differently.
So if you're going to try that, I might
Mhm.
also suggest putting a run bundle config path right before it, which should output the path as well.
Oh, I see.
So just, it sets the path and then it's almost like you want an output to the logs that kind of shows the path, and then you run the bundle install on a separate line to just see, it's an extra layer of debugging output, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think from here on out, when I'm messing with this Docker file, I shouldn't be starting a fresh job machine each time. I can just like blow away the Docker container and rebuild it.
Hmm.
Um, and thinking about that makes me realize that it might be really convenient for me just to have a command that I can run that like puts me into, well, basically like a command for, what am I trying to think of? Like a debug session version of a test run, if that makes sense. Because a regular test run, like it'll run and then terminate, and it's not very usable for troubleshooting. And it might be nice if I had a different version, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, I'm going to wind it down, but before I do, I'm going to leave a clue for next time, and I'll say, well, moving bundle install to the next line, make it so the vendor bundle path gets picked up. Okay, and that's what we'll do next time. All right. Well, thanks guys for joining me, and I will see you next time.
Yep. Thanks.